I could eat a page for hours. Please.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage cast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. Except this week we're doing it a little different. Before we get into that, my name is Linda Castro, but you can call me the Cheese.
And I'm the Dummy!
I hate you.
And I am the Adrian, and Cage doesn't have a character this week because he is a character.
Today we're talking about an important event in Nicolas Cage's life. Instead of a movie, we're talking about his meeting, courting, and questing for the hand of Patricia Arquette. This is a little series we're starting. We like to call it Tales from the Cage.
And I like to call this Courting Cage. You might say it's Cage's quest.
So, yes. In 1987, Cage was 23 years old. Ooh. And he, along with a lot of the younger Hollywood stars, liked to hang out at Cantor's Deli in Los Angeles. And Nick Cage liked to go there because he could park and show off his mini cars or his motorcycle.
Take off his shirt.
And take off his shirt. And actually, he was kicked out for a little while because he was trying to impress and turn on his older girlfriend. And he decided the best way to go about doing that was to throw a ketchup bottle at the wall. And needless to say, the owner of Cantor's Deli was not turned on. So he wasn't allowed there.
That's like old school
for a
romance
while.
right there. You know, chucking ketchup.
Well, yeah.
Bitch can't, but I can.
I've seen guys do worse, but I've also seen guys do better. But, anyway, he in 1987, he wandered into Cantor's Deli with his friend Crispin Glover.
Ooh.
My kind of Glover.
Time-traveling companion.
Gatsby boy himself.
And at this time, Patricia Arquette was only 19 years old. And she had been in A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warrior.
Dream Warrior.
And she was also in Dawkins' music video for said song.
Of course.
But she was not in A Nightmare on Elm Street #4. They had that stupid blonde stand-in acting like she's Patricia Arquette, which she's totally not.
Well, we can get into that too, but
Randy Hartman
that comes later.
That's what she said.
Wait. You should probably go back and say that in the Crypt Keeper's voice.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Okay, better. She was also in a movie called Pretty Smart and a TV movie called Daddy.
Oh, well, man.
But
I won't be watching that one.
Oh, God. No. Please, no. But she literally passed them by. She walked right by them. But before I get into that, I should say that she comes from a family of performers, much like Nicolas Cage. Her great-grandparents this is all on her, the paternal side, her dad's side. Her great-grandparents were vaudeville performers. Ooh. Her grandfather, Cliff, was known for his character, Charlie Weaver. And he had his own show as Charlie Weaver. And he was a recurring guest on Hollywood Squares. And her father, Louis, was a Broadway actor. Her mother, Brenda Marty Deneau, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was an actress and a therapist. And then, of course, she had 4 siblings.
And she's no stranger to Deneau.
Mm-hmm. No. Her sisters were Alexis and Rosanna, and brothers Richmond and David, all actors.
Alexis, who was initially Alex, I believe.
And
I believe
Alexis,
so.
Texas.
Yeah.
No, but she did have a persona Eva Destruction.
Wow.
With Gregory Hines.
Anyway, they all grew up in a hippie commune, and she said later that she never really felt that she got rid of those hippie tendencies. But anyway, they walked past, Patricia Arquette walked right past Crispin and Nicholas at the time, and
she
Nicholas
said, harumph.
Harumph. Not impressed. Actually, Nicholas said, quote, "She walked past me and said she'd just eaten liver and onions. I fell in love with her then and there. I said, listen, you don't believe me, but I want to marry you. And she said no. And I said, then put me on a quest. Anything. Let me prove how much I mean this." End quote. Little creepy. And
that's what I've been waiting to hear.
Yeah, right. I just like the thought of her passing by and just apropos nothing, just out of the blue, I just ate liver and onions.
What a coincidence! Me too.
I want to eat your
I
liver
love
with
you.
onions.
In the most romantic
Let's
way
go play
possible.
harmonica down by the train tracks.
Ooh.
Can I put you in a cage?
Go to the corner, Donnie. Go to the corner. I want you to go to the corner and think about what you just said.
It turns out the stage name came after his habit of adopting women.
You could say he was a little wild at heart.
You're like, what, a size 8?
This was all in the City of Angels. He gave her a knowing look.
God damn it.
So safe to say, after she sent him on a quest, he drove home angry.
I fucking hate puns, and I fucking hate
He had
you
a problem
guys.
with rage.
This was your idea.
She'd broken the trust. Crispin says,
Anyway.
don't get mad. It's a dog-eat-dog world.
God damn it. Anyway, she thought that they were teasing her and just fucking around with her. So, and she was a little creeped out, which, I mean, yeah. And so she went to her table and wrote a list on a napkin of things that she thought were impossible to possibly get. So she got J.D. Salinger's autograph,
Respect.
a black orchid,
Mondu.
a Bob's Big Boy statue, which, I mean, yeah, who doesn't want that? And a wedding dress from a Tibetan tribe. Now, Nick thought that
Is that
the
all?
orchid would be... Huh?
I said, is that all?
No, I think that she probably asked for more, but this is all that either of them
Respect
could
and
remember
equal
according
pay.
to interviews. Well, she did ask for that later.
A vial of Alexander the Great's semen.
Shh, dude, I'm not ready to tell everybody how Carlo courted me.
Semen.
Now, so Nick thought that the orchid would be the easiest thing to obtain, so he started with that. And he soon found out that black orchids don't fucking exist. And that's why she put it on the goddamn list in the first place.
He could have just given
So-
her a copy of Dumas' The Black Tulip and said, close enough.
Yeah.
But she would accept no substitutes.
Damn right.
So, he bought a purple orchid and a can of black spray paint,
Yeah.
drove his motorcycle over to her house.
With a
No.
vengeance.
God damn it. Set his
felt like
head
my skull's on fire.
Now, this is the part that creeps me out the most because, like,
Oh, now
I
you're
looked in
creeped
so
out.
many different.
Yeah.
What? No, I said the most because
Yeah.
I looked in so many different places to find how the fuck did he know where she lived?
She's
No-
Patricia
nothing
Arquette,
says-
who doesn't know where she lives.
Just follow Twitter.
He glued on a mustache and he got on one of those Hollywood tour buses where they show the homes of the stars and waited for them to point her out. Then he made them stop the bus,
Star-
unhitched his motorcycle from the front of it, and then drove over.
This is where the star of the TV movie Daddy lives. Patricia
Woo!
Arquette.
Everybody whips out the cameras and starts snapping pictures.
But anyway, he showed up at her house, and he said that she was scared. Yeah, doy. She was peeking out her window at him, and he theatrically, in true Cage fashion, pulled out the orchid from his motorcycle jacket and pulled out the can of spray paint and painted the orchid while she watched.
In real
he said-
time.
In real time.
Performance
And
art.
He said, quote, I went up to the door and gave it to her and she went, thank you. She was terrified.
She
End
wants me.
quote. And so I love that, like, their love story starts off with a quote of him saying she was terrified.
I think he says it was terror, but it's more like, oh, this didn't end. Damn it.
Now, his manager was friends with J.D. Salinger's son, who said that he never signed anything, of course, because, I mean, he was, like, notorious for being one of those authors who just didn't want to be in the limelight. He just was not a celebrity.
So did he pose as a pizza delivery man and say you have to sign for this, or?
No, actually, he found a letter for sale from the author. So, of course, it was signed. And he paid $2,500 for it. Put it in a cigar box with an apricot and a Dominican cigar. He drove to her house and found her playing hopscotch in the street with one of her friends.
Because 19, that's what you do.
Right? He pulled up, left the box, and drove off.
She was
Like
a
a
little
totally
apprehensive
normal guy.
about opening a box because of that other time he left the flaming dog poopy there.
That he spray painted.
I bet he was gone in 60 seconds.
She could tell he was a real family man.
He just wanted to put the rock on her finger because a little birdie told him so.
His hair was perfect. He must have used a Con Air.
I've got real snake eyes for you.
Come at us, Crypt Keeper.
Copyright.
See you tomorrow.
So,
what do you know?
naturally, she was getting frightened by him.
Naturally.
She finally relented when he said that he was about to get the statue that night at midnight. He just needed to get the right tools.
You need to stop. You need to stop right now. No.
Yeah, that's basically what she told him.
Was he going to take the
And,
head off Jebediah Springfield?
Oh my god, that was... So she finally relented and said she wouldn't marry him, but she would go on a date with him. And I guess she wasn't that frightened.
In my
or
country,
who knows,
date
maybe
means
she...
marriage.
Well, we're getting to that.
You live in Van Nuys. What the hell?
She apparently kissed him so much that night that she got a burn on her face from his beard. So they took
Wow.
It was from his beard.
What
Yeah,
happened
his
to your
beard.
mustache? It
Not
came off with
his
the
beard.
friction.
It couldn't have been anything else.
So they went. So they took the natural next step in the relationship and went on a trip to Mexico, where
He sold her into
Nicolas
slavery.
Cage says, he says, quote, "I remember being so in love that I wasn't able to have sex because I was paralyzed. I couldn't perform on that level." End quote. So
Never on a Tuesday. You could say he was moonstruck.
It wasn't a deadfall, and she was guarding Tess. Figure that one out.
They were both to be trapped in paradise.
one could say they were raising Arizona. Arizona being a state. God damn it, I hate myself for going to your level. His grandfather was conducting a show in Cuba at the time, and he wanted, so Nick Cage decided he wanted to take her there and marry her in Havana. So while his family was around, and I don't think that she knew about his plans to marry her. I think he was just gonna fucking take her to Havana and be like,
know it
"So we're getting married."
Stop distracting me, babe. I'm planning an abduction. God.
God. However, the airport in Mexico City lost his tickets, and he, in true Cage fashion, lost his shit.
He hurled a ketchup bottle at the wall.
It's like, does this turn you on?
He turned it into a real rumble fish.
Yes, senor, that changes everything.
So she did not like how he threw a fit and started yelling at everybody in the airport. So she wanted to go home, and they returned to the States, and she ended up getting back with her ex-boyfriend. Well, no, actually, I think she was actually dating him at the time. So she got back with her boyfriend, who is the musician Paul Rossi. Now, Nick would call her off and on and ask her to marry him. And of course she would say, "Dude, I got a boyfriend." And she'd call him off and on, and he would say he had a girlfriend. So they just kept kind of missing each other. But in 1989, on January 3rd, she was 21, and she had Paul's child, Enzo Rossi. And almost 2
Enzo?
years after that, Enzo.
Enzo?
As in Lorenzo's oil?
As in all up
Yes.
ins there?
Enzo shit. Yes. I'm sure he's a fine gentleman. On December 26th, 1990, Cage's then girlfriend Christina Fulton gave birth to his first child, Weston Cage Coppola. And they talked on and off through the years. And Patricia Arquette said that she was at this time, and I guess throughout her life, looking for a quote-unquote honorable, truthful, brave man. Now, Nick had been on her mind throughout the years, and she said, quote, "I needed to be reassured that the depth of his love would be as brave as before," end quote. I don't know about brave, but I don't know. I guess there's a fine line between brave and creepy. Creepy stalker. Oh, God damn it. like might end up in his well in his basement. I mean, I don't know.
Is it TMI if I start starting stories about one of your exes right now?
Oh God! I really hope you don't.
It just reminds me of a certain one of them, and a certain power tool.
Certainly not the best of times.
Patricia Arquette explained that her dream man was, quote, someone who looked like Jesus, but was
That explains his 90s haircut. Okay. Yeah.
looked like Jesus, but was kind of like a magician, a clown, and a pirate all mixed together.
So Jesus.
Someone who could write his own moral code.
Well, she missed the boat. She should have got with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, if she had just been in a couple Nightmare on Elm Streets before
Oh,
that.
that's true. Yeah, that's their connection.
But I mean, who isn't looking for someone who looks like Jesus, but's a magician, clown, and pirate all rolled into one?
Now, my son, we've never met before, have we? Nothing in my sleeve. Avast, 'tis my father.
I don't think that he looks like Jesus, but I guess if you squint and drink a little bit.
You know, that 4-hour Jesus of Nazareth adaptation was that one British guy. He's a little bit cagey. Robert Powell, that's his name. Yeah.
Rock me, sexy Jesus. No, Nick Cage found himself attracted to crazy women. His words, not mine, and was looking for a woman who could kick his ass. I mean, yeah.
Did that
once
chick
again,
he had
who's
the 4-day marriage to just recently? Did she kick his ass a little?
I hope so. I mean, like, I don't know. Whatever whatever floats your boat, I guess. Yeah. So finally, after talking on and off through the years, somewhere in the mid-90s, she arrived at his house carrying a giant purple wedding cake and wearing head-to-toe black vinyl.
And
she
proposed
to
the
him.
Cake in front of him.
She said, "How does it feel, motherfucker?" No, actually, she proposed to him, and they got married on her birthday, April 8th, 1995. So, we're recording this on the 11th. So happy birthday!
Well, shit. Mm.
Yeah. So they had their first public appearance as a couple that year at Cannes Film Festival, where she announced that they were on their honeymoon. And when asked whether or not they had fun together, she said, quote, we stay home and talk a lot, laugh a lot, jump on the bed, bark at each other. End quote.
So no, that's the answer to that one. None at all.
No, it's a hell I have to live through every day of my life.
Rough. That means I rough you very much.
Donnie, is there some sort of barking pun you want to make at this point?
Now we know who should have been cast in the truth about cats treasure, and he's a real book of secrets.
This in no way relates to USS Indianapolis Men of Courage. I don't know.
Just remember, boys and ghouls, it could happen to you. In fact, you could be next.
Why are we doing a podcast about this man again?
I know, right? I've been saying this since day one.
She also said, quote, I know the marriage sounds really weird, incredibly abrupt, but we married out of a deep love for each other, not out of sexuality. We hadn't slept
neither of
together
them
in
had
8
that.
years.
And they lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
Well, she said that like it wasn't out of sexuality, and I was thinking, well, yeah, I mean, apparently it sounds like y'all didn't get it on in Mexico. So
you all think it's about sexuality. It's so funny you should think that. I don't know why you should think anything would be ever about sexuality. Oh my. Oh my.
Now, he said, quote, I think she's a romantic. There's a sense of mythology about her. I think she likes our story. I know I like it. It says of me that if I see something I go for it. I won't stop. I will not stop.
It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you are wed.
Exactly. I said the exact same thing to my husband last night. I was like, he's like the fucking Terminator,
Yeah.
and he won't stop until she is wed. Like, it is.
I need your clothes and your bike.
Like, I feel like when I'm reading that quote, like I need to have some sort of like dark.
That's why they never scored. He just shoot her in the leg.
Like, I won't stop. I will not.
It'll
stop.
either be a time to kill or a honeymoon in Vegas.
He's a real matchstick man.
And especially like the part where he says, like, it says of me that if I see something I want, not like someone I want, like
I will have
she's
that
not a
bagel.
fucking
It will be
something.
mine.
That's
I
just
won't
so
stop.
crude of him.
God damn it. But their friend, Jim Carrey, said, quote, their marriage was a very wild thing, but I like them together. They're pretty cool, and she's very cool. And, I've been shocked by his devotion. He's really trying to make it work and be a good husband. And when
And
Nick
he utterly
wants something to
failed, but
work-
he tried.
Like, he's trying. He's putting in his best there.
Noble effort.
But that's the story. They lived happily ever after. They're still together and going
Right.
strong.
What about all those
So
other
we're going
marriages?
to talk about when they turn this story into the beloved and tearful movie, The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
What now?
This is almost the exact same story as The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. It is an animated movie
okay.
about almost the same premise, just minus Cage. So maybe they just didn't want to step on some toes.
For a little bit in the middle there, it's like When Harry Met Sally, and it's kind of compelling, but then it just ends. Unlike When Harry Met
Then it
Sally.
just ends. And of course, we'll have to get into, I guess, the end eventually.
That's what he
But-
said.
Then it becomes a real season of the witch.
That's what's next.
Then she learned he was the sorcerer's apprentice.
When he told her, he found himself on frozen ground.
And she gets left behind.
She went to the Humanity Bureau because she was seeking justice.
I guess it broke the trust.
Anyway. But yeah, so that's the story of his first marriage. And probably his best.
He said like 5 of those now?
No.
I think he's been married 4 times now.
Is that counting the most recent one?
But well, we'll eventually get into all this. But I mean, there is time.
There is another.
So
There is another.
So we've talked a lot about the Cage here over these past few months. We haven't really, none of us has really mentioned like our own personal history with the Cage, apart from the fact that he stalks your nightmares, Linda.
Yeah. I'd say that's personal.
Do any of you remember what your first Nicolas Cage movie was?
Raising Arizona.
It was Raising Arizona. That'd be a good one to start with. Or
I mean, it's probably my first experience with him, but I think that like he was always there and probably haunting my nightmares since I was born.
I think my first was either Honeymoon in Vegas or Wild at Heart. And I'm hoping it was Wild at Heart because if I'd started with Honeymoon in Vegas, I never should have watched any of his movies ever again.
We saw Honeymoon in Vegas in the theater when it came out.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
That was an experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they were replaying
that.
it when we were kids in the 90s.
I remember
Wait,
at one
shit.
point, I think it was Pizza Hut that had like a giveaway where you got a free DVD for a while, and one of them was Honeymoon in Vegas.
Please take this movie.
Yeah, it's like we just need to. I think one of the other options was Josie and the Pussycats.
Actually,
There were only like
I
5
remember
movies, and they
that.
were all
also...
like if there was a box set from an actor, it'd be the third one that you wish wasn't there.
But they were also giving away was it the Bill and Ted's at the time? No, it wasn't Bill
It
and
was
Ted.
Bogus
It wasn't
Journey,
the first
wasn't
one. It
it?
was the second
Bogus
one.
Journey.
Yeah,
There are
Bogus
worse things than
Journey.
Bogus Journey, like Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds
Without
me
a
when we game tested at Warner Brothers, and at the end, they're like, you guys get 2 free games. Like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
here's a whole catalog. Like, all right, cool. What's the second free game? Happy Feet. It's like, no, you guys can keep it. And the woman actually said, like, no, please take it. Like, no, I don't want Happy Feet.
You're gonna take Happy
Donnie
Feet.
and I were both like, really, we don't want it.
No, you take it. No, you take it. Take it.
The man
Like,
who
I
made
honestly
Mad
think
Max
that-
made that movie.
I honestly think that they didn't want us to test any games. They were just like running a racket to get people to actually.
It was all an
take
elaborate
fucking
plot to get
Happy
rid of
Feet.
one copy of Happy Feet. That ET landfill was full.
Yeah. But,
Does anybody have a favorite
yeah.
Cage movie?
I have plenty.
Could
I
you
honestly have
boil it
stayed
down to
limited
one?
to Cageness.
Yeah,
I mean, I just remember mostly when he suddenly, for no reason, became an action star in the 90s.
yeah, that
and
was
just
an
faded away.
interesting moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
you
some
guys
reason,
didn't like The
Jerry
Rock and
Bruckheimer,
Face Off and Connor?
Jesus Christ. For some reason, Jerry Bruckheimer thought it'd be a good idea to let the guy who directed the music video for "I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That" direct $100 million action movies. For some reason, that was a good idea.
Why didn't he put Nick Cage in that music video and Patricia Arquette?
It would have been an improvement.
Or hell, why not just even that? Why
Because
not cast both of them in a remake of Twilight? Just who fucking cares about age?
well, I think that the
Edward was
characters
actually
in
150
Twilight
years old,
ended
so it
up-
makes sense anyway. Yeah, I really must say.
And
You know,
he's,
if you actually
characters
pay
in
attention to the
school.
source material,
He's still in high school trying to pass off as a student.
top of the morning to you.
do
Who
it.
even says that anymore? God, Edward, you're so old sometimes.
That's so
Well, I
radical.
think the characters in
Totally too.
the characters in Twilight ended up having more sex when they went on vacation than they did. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
They
my
had a
God,
Hawaiian
I wanna
sex
see him as
tour.
Edward, but I want to have him with his hair that he had in Raising Arizona.
And he has to wear a bear suit
Even that
sometimes.
color.
no, I want to see him as the girl with Belle, or whatever her fucking name is.
Oh, Jesus.
That would work today. It'd be a role reversal. This could happen.
Yeah, that's how they do it now, you know. Or Melissa McCarthy would be every role, you know.
Or we could remake it and have him in every single role.
Actually, that's a question. Why hasn't this been made into a Lifetime movie?
Oh yeah,
because we haven't.
we
made
have
it
to
yet.
recast this
Yeah.
romance, by the way, for the face-off segment.
And this brings us to our Kickstarter. We're going to be kickstarting this into a movie. We need your lifetime dollar.
Dear fans, some of you have deep pockets, and you don't know what to do with that money, so you might as well give it to us to make this random film that no one asked for.
Yes, we won't pocket the profits.
Honest.
Are you a real chud?
What the fuck does chuds have to do with anything?
Contamination hazard urban disposal.
Because they're caged hearts united by a dream.
I believe I remember you had an alternate 4-letter thing for our Cage fans early on. You know?
Cunt?
Yeah, that one. I was going to
Cage
be cute
charts,
and
one
talk
word.
around it with cutting rents or something, but yeah, you could just say that too.
Cage charts as one word. C. United. U. By the national and treasure. T.
Yeah.
So, chuds or cunts. I mean, it's your choice.
Built on NT technology.
That's what he said.
Hello.
So, if we're gonna recast this romance, though, I think maybe Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, or Andy Dick, possibly. It's, Tommy Lee. Yeah. By the way, I tried to watch Netflix's film of Motley Crue, The Dirt, and I got about 30 minutes
Donnie
into
did.
I
that.
sympathize with you.
It's on my list.
I mean, like,
Take it off the list.
I have a more than healthy appreciation for hair metal, but I've never really been a Crew fan, partly because Vince Neil is kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, they weren't really that exceptional. They made great music, but their story itself was just really shit.
Like, they were drunken assholes.
Yeah.
Did they go over the story about like how they were screwing so many women? They ended up trying like hot sauce on their dicks to like stave away STDs.
No.
I mean, they probably
definitely
smelled like
go into all
tacos
of it.
already, you know. Well, you told me they had a tour where they didn't shower.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Well, if I'm recasting this whole story, let's put in Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, because why not?
Yeah, they're every other romance.
Yes, exactly. That's all they do is
How am I
romance.
supposed to get you a black tulip? I don't know what sex
I think
is.
we kind of talked about it before, and now, like more so than ever, I want to see Tommy Wiseau play him.
How could you love him and have his baby? Off and on like
He would
romance.
grow black tulips. Maybe that's where that's where Tom Hanks has to go, as Tommy Wiseau for black tulips.
I could be Cage,
Black
really
orchids.
sexy
Like,
kid.
I
See
have
these
them,
arms?
don't
Yeah.
worry.
I got you this orchid for my princess.
Patricia, baby.
They say love is blind.
Yeah, three's a crowd, you know. Yeah.
But I want Patricia Arquette played by Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
She'd probably do it.
And I want her paid
Dream
more.
Warriors.
That's a good ending.
And that's your Patricia Arquette kiss off.
How can we end it like that without paying homage to Katie Bowman?
I'm sure she's a person.
You fuckers! This woman is a doctor at 29 of science who gave us our first picture of a black hole.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Actually-
new news.
For once, Donnie is actually being a decent human
Okay,
being.
so clearly,
Yes.
I don't know any up
I was
to the
thinking-
minute information unless it's about a Nicolas Cage marriage. Apparently, the only news I see is that is from one of the TVs on the treadmill.
Okay, so since I'm never a decent human being, then let's recast it and replace the whole Tom Hanks thing with Woody Allen and Sung Yi.
Or
There,
Jerry
now I'm back to
Seinfeld in the
being
15-year-old
indecent.
hooker.
Roman Polanski.
God damn.
Does no one remember Jerry Seinfeld in the 15-year-old hooker?
Oh.
This was real, people.
Come at us, Jerry.
What's with these podcasts? What are you supposed to listen to those on anyway? I don't hear any podcasts when I turn on my radio. Teenagers, who understands them?
God damn it. Like, how do we recover from this?
Well, you can
I've
find
been
us
asking my
online.
whole life
Donnie's
that, 'cause
on Twitter.
I can't be a decent human being.
But you're
Every
still
time.
Gar the Twi'lek.
You people bring me down.
To your place.
Did you guys ever
And
hear
with
of
that
a
being said- 2004
boy band called B44 and their song "If You Get Down on Me, I'll Get Down on You"? I'm gonna make
thought you were
you
gonna say
come
that
tonight over to my
I thought you were gonna
house.
say the creeper from Jeepers Creepers had a band called Be Eating You. It was a boy band of creepers. It's like, you listen to Beating You? No, say it differently. Come on.
It's not beating you, it's beating you.
But we got to save that for our future podcast.
People at home, next week we will have a movie, so don't despair.
Yes, next week we're actually going to be talking about Moonstruck, which was also in 1987. So see, it kind of relates.
Just like
and
Hellraiser
stuff.
1 and Def Leppard's Hysteria and The Living Daylights, 1987.
1987.
I thought you were going to say they all had Cher. I would have believed you.
Oh yeah, let's recast this romance with Cher.
Jesus, what?
You opened the box, and I came.
Now, please, I hope we didn't ruin everything for you. If you're still here, if you're still listening, please listen, follow, rate, and review.
You like button.
Download all of our stuff on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and YouTube.
Discover us.
Yeah, please.
And I'm also on YouTube as AA Smith and on DeviantArt as Leo the Fox. Come find my shit, damn it.
I'm not the boy who blew still, but I think I should be, and I am on Real Goals, and you should not find me at all, because I'll ignore you. I'm not a socialite. I am such a
And
sad
find our
man.
Kickstarter. Which now we have to make a thing, apparently. It'll go on the Patreon.
Give us money.
And remember, you can find us at Cage's Kiss on Facebook and Twitter. You can also visit our website at cageskiss.com, and you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. Anybody want to try to take a stab at that kiss off?
I'm so glad we have a picture of a black hole that sucked up all the failures in my life.
Yeah, you get a rocket, go to it right quick, and just kind of hop in.
Cage.
Cage. And there you go.
Musical genius.
And that's how it's done.